EA Sports and the PGA Tour proudly present the season-long race for the FedEx Cup. It's the opening round of the Pittsburgh Invitational. And hello again and welcome. Rich Lerner alongside Frank Nobilo. We are at Oakmont Country Club in western Pennsylvania. Frank, the site of so many historic moments. Great players have made their mark here. Sam Snead, Ben Hogan, Jack Nicklaus, Ernie Els, a long and distinguished list.
Oakmont, if it's not the most difficult golf course in North America, Rich, it's certainly one of the most difficult golf courses. With its 210 bunkers, really personified by the church pews, the hard and slick greens that slope away from the player and the tight fairways, this golf course always requires the utmost precision.
Outstanding tee shot.
Yeah, ball sitting up. You don't have to worry about the wind or anything there. You just take a full-blooded cut at the second shot from here.
Didn't hit it in there tight. Still with a...
Yeah, if that's his worst shot at the end of the day, then I still think he's played well.
Sit down. Get down.
Oh, this is going. That was almost like that's what he wanted to do, but why would you want it to run over the back?
Frank, in golf, as we know, there's short grass and there's long grass. We all want to be in that short grass, but it doesn't always work out that way. So what's the most important element from the shot, from the rough?
You have to be a little bit more conservative first and foremost, because you can't guarantee a perfect strike out of the long grass. So therefore you have to look around the greens, maybe short, to the right, to the left, and realize what's involved. And also just give yourself a slightly bigger target.
That's a par. Stays at +2. Flying over the place. Let's get down now to the 13th. Frank, what's the mindset this late in the first round when you haven't played your best?
Well, somehow you've got to get into the clubhouse, minimize the damage. You've also got to figure out what's gone wrong. A little trip to the range, fix it up. Tomorrow will be a better day.
Frank missed the green off the tee.
Yeah, but this is certainly a tricky little shot coming up here at the par 3.
Well, certainly playable from here. Ball is in the first cut. Not too bad. Coming out of the rough and right up next to the hole. Locked in on the read and the speed. Good solid par right there. #14, pretty short par 4 at 358 yards. Frank?
Get the ball in play here, and certainly your best opportunity for birdie on the second 9 so far.
Well, he pays the price.
Don't see the top of the ball, and you know it's not sitting pretty. Going to need a bit of force to extract one out of there.
Midway through this back 9, could use this birdie here at the 14th. Sitting right now at 2 over par for the round. Very well done. Almost made it.
Yeah, there'll be no stress for the next one.
Two over for the day. Here at the 15th, a long par 4 at 499 yards. Frank, what are you looking to do off the tee?
Tee shot here is very similar to the one back at the par 5, where the fairway slopes left to right. And then the second shot's going to be uphill to a green that's actually built in the opposite direction. This is a tough par 4.
Wow, that is a monster drive down there, about 315 yards. Frank, deep into a final round of the U.S. Open at Oakmont. This approach shot at 15, this is where you really need to be focused.
You do. The front third of the screen slopes back towards the front right of the green. Then everything in the middle starts to kick towards the right and then the back. So it's a case, like so many other greens here, of using the slopes in your favor. So pick the right club, try and adjust, and, well, in the back of your mind, allow for the amount of roll that the ball's going to take when it hits the green.
Well, this is how you build a good round, Frank. You just keep hitting greens. Not a gimme, but well within his range. That's costly right there.
Painful.
Nudge this one home, finish it up. So with that, 3 over par now for the round. Don't forget, second round coverage coming your way tomorrow here on EA Sports. For our entire crew, I'm Rich Lerner saying so long for now. EA Sports and the PGA Tour proudly present the season-long race for the FedEx Cup. Today, it's live second-round coverage of the Pittsburgh Invitational. Hello again and welcome. Rich Lerner alongside my friend and colleague Frank Nobila. We are back in the state of Pennsylvania getting set to kick off the round here at one of the great golf courses in the world, Oakmont Country Club. Frank, you're very familiar with it because you were right in the mix down the stretch at the 1994 U.S. Open right here at Oakmont.
And Rich, it's so good just to be back here. You know, there's so much history in Oakmont. It's been a host to so many prestigious tournaments in our sport, such as the U.S. Amateur, the U.S. Open, the Women's U.S. Open, and the PGA Championship. It's just one of the true gems on the golf landscape.
Frank, it may be obvious you'd rather have a ball sitting up perfectly in these fairways as opposed to the deep rough off to the left or right. But how is a player able to take advantage when he has that good lie?
Well, anything better than that would be sitting on a tee. That is a perfect lie. It almost guarantees good contact.
He's knocked it on the green, but not in a great position. This is a chance coming up here. Long birdie try. Looks like he just misread that. Over this putt, concentrating on the read. Come on, don't do that.
Cruel lip out.
So not his best work. He'll walk away with a bogey. Now at the par 5 12th, 667 yards. Frank, you played golf around the world at the very highest level. I've heard you say you think this is one of the hardest par 5s on the planet. Why?
The slope of the fairway, you don't get a flat lie anywhere along that, and the green slopes away from you. So really there's no easy out. This is the only par 5 I've ever seen where the best players in the world would take a 5. I tell you, there's long and long, and that with a little bit of breeze behind, it's long.
He rode the wind there to payday. He's going to have a good look coming up. Into the tall cabbage. That ball is swallowed up. And setting up here in the rough. Early part of this back 9 and a good approach shot. Now we'll have this for birdie.
It's at sneaky distance.
It happens sometimes, Frank. They don't all drop.
No, but you try telling him right now.
Par attempt here. That's good work right there. Just a tap-in. Shouldn't be a problem here, but not a formality either. One more turn of the golf ball.
Hubert Green once said 99% of putts that come up short don't go in.
Frank, how do you explain what we saw here?
It's a mess. It's probably the easiest way to put it. This is a case of anything that could go wrong. Not just probably, it did. Whoop, this is taken off on a weird line.
And it's going to be in the rough, it looks like. Hoping to get this up and down here, Frank, at the par 3 after missing the green.
It's not all bad.
Just in the first cut of rough, not a bad lie. The only considered to be the next Rory Mcilroy. Our featured golfer makes birdie and moves inside the cut line. Rich Lerner alongside Frank Nobilo. We're at the 14th hole at Oakmont Country Club. Frank, it's only 358 yards. How good is the scoring opportunity here?
This is certainly one of the best chances on the back 9 here for birdie. That's for sure, Rich. Just a long iron off the tee there, threaded in between bunkers that adorn both sides of this fairway. To set up to what you would say on Oakmont standards is a relatively gentle green.
So a chance for birdie after another solid approach shot. Birdie putt coming up. Had a par on this hole yesterday. Oh, I thought he had that.
Can't birdie them all, Rich.
This one just requires a little bit of focus. Frank, amazing how this hole has gotten away.
Yeah, he's not Robinson Crusoe. Happened to everybody that's played this game.
Frank, it has been that kind of a tournament. Another bogey. All teed up at the 15th. It's a par 4 of 499 yards. What a test here, Frank.
It certainly is. The tee shot here is a little bit like the par 5 12th, where the fairway slopes quite severely from left to right. It means the pews there on the left side are actually not a bad place to aim at. You just have to allow for that kick and roll towards the right.
Good strike, good lie, good chance to attack the pin. Frank, this is a position where a player is absolutely licking his chops here. Good chance to make a birdie.
Yeah, this is when this game just looks like fun. bunkers don't seem to be in play. The only thing you're really looking at right now is just the flag.
Not terrible, but not his best.
Yeah, outside chance really for birdie, but really it was a rather poor approach shot.
So a long putt there and just didn't read it quite right. Problem here.
That's the cruelest thing about this game, Rich. I mean, it's just now it's another shot.
Clean this up with a tap. So that's a drop shot. Missed cut. What happened, Frank?
Just not good enough. That's the easy way. Way too many shots out there, especially for that caliber of play. So put it in the memory banks, move forward, better days ahead.
EA Sports and the PGA Tour proudly present the season-long race for the FedEx Cup. Today it's live third-round coverage of the Pittsburgh Invitational. It is one of the most difficult golf courses in the United States. Oakmont Country Club outside Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. Hello again and welcome. Rich Lerner alongside Frank Nobilo, who was a part of that dramatic U.S. Open in 1994 at Oakmont, ultimately won by Ernie Els. Frank, when you think of Oakmont, what comes to mind?
The difficulty of the golf course, Rich. I know a lot's changed over the last 20 or so years. A lot of the trees are being removed. But really, that wasn't the story of Oakmont. It's the slick greens, you know, how firm and fast they can be. The members there, for example, you know, they marvel at the fact that people think they're fast. They say, we putt on these greens every single day, and they're certainly no slower. But it's the bunkering as well. There's 210 bunkers here. They're all in play. And it just has that history. When you step on Oakmont...
Frank, you can see by the reaction, it has been that kind of week. Just a few too many pars. Rich Lerner back with you at the 14th hole at Oakmont. And this is a hole that offers up a pretty good scoring opportunity, a short par 4 at 358 yards. Not on the fairway here. This could be a tough shot coming up next. Good thing he stayed in the first cut, because just a couple of feet over, that rough is really deep. Birdie try up next. Just want to nestle this one down to within a couple of feet. That was not a very good read right there. Been pretty good all day from this distance, just trying to take care of business. He'll take par and move on. All teed up at the 15th. It's a par 4 of 499 yards. Excellent looking shot here. That's a good spot right there.
Center cut.
Frank, the beauty of the game, the changing conditions. You've played it all over the world, and you don't play it inside a dome, do you?
Yeah, anybody can play on a fine, still day, but what separates the good from the great is actually days like today. That's when that little extra attention to detail, a better strike, a better swing is certainly going to pay dividends. Our computer gives us 23 feet, Rich.
Little redemption chance here. Had bogey yesterday.
Had every chance of going in.
Not a gimme, but well within his range. That's costly right there.
Painful.
Going to tap out on this hole for the week for another bogey on this hole. He's made it. On to 16 now, a 231-yard par 3. Seems to like it. Headed for the fat part of the green. That's well played. Now a good look at birdie. It's the beautiful part of golf. Brand new day, new hole. Remember, he made a bogey here yesterday. This time for birdie. Well, he's not going to be real happy with that. Wow. Sitting right now at 2 over par for the round. That had to really hurt, Frank, because it looked good all the way.
Well, this will test his mettle.
Just needs to keep it steady here over the putt. Well, too bad. He gives one back. Now on to the 17th hole, and Frank, in so many ways, this determined the outcome of the 2007 U.S. Open. Jim Furyk had his issues here. It's just 313 yards, but it can really play with a player's mind.
It's such an unusual par 4 for a US Open, plus also where it comes in the round, because the options, and there's only really 2, is like a 4 or 5 iron, you sneak it up the right side, or you take a driver directly at the green. You would think there's something in between, but really there isn't, and that's why, to your point, it stopped Jim Furyk, it stopped Tiger Woods, it allowed Cabrera to win. It also helped Ernie Els, who went with the driver option there back in 1994. So 17, it's short, it's tempting, it is at a US Open, but it is still demanding. Well, I thought they'd at least pick up a shot. Birdie looked like a sitter. Now at par.
Just singes the edge, Frank.
Yeah, but at least he's burning the edges. You know you're hitting good putts.
Just a little tap in here. Great finishing hole here at Oakmont, Frank, the 18th.
I remember back in 1994, this was the last hole in a US Open ever played by Arnold Palmer. He couldn't pick a better finishing hole to win a championship or say farewell.
Frank, this is a way to make golf easy when you can hit it that deep.
Oh, I'm going to say, I know that first number's a 3. I'm guessing the second one's a 2. Let's call it 320.
This is a good-looking shot. Great way to finish off the final approach shot with a birdie opportunity. Made a par in his previous round. This time, it's for birdie. Came to the putt excited to make birdie. Now, settle for par.
Yeah, little change in the attitude right now. You've let one go. You've got to really knuckle down there and make sure you don't drop a shot. It's important this one goes in.
Wow, that's disappointing. Chance to get too deep on one hole and you leave it short.
Well, the good thing is he didn't miss it, right? It didn't go past the miss. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
We'll never know.
Okay. Still has a chance for birdie, too.
Right, okay. I like that positive attitude.
That concludes round 3 here. Not a very good one, Frank.
Yeah, really a poor performance is the only way to put it. Rich, missing putts throughout the round really kept them back from putting anything of consequence together.
EA Sports and the PGA Tour proudly present the season-long race for the FedEx Cup. Today, it's live final round coverage of the Pittsburgh Invitational. And hello again and welcome. Rich Lerner alongside Frank Nobilo. We are at Oakmont Country Club in western Pennsylvania. Frank, the site of so many historic moments. Great players have made their mark here. Sam Snead, Ben Hogan, Jack Nicklaus, Ernie Els, a long and distinguished list.
Oakmont, if it's not the most difficult golf course in North America, Rich, it's certainly one of the most difficult golf courses. With its 210 bunkers, really personified by the church pews, the hard and slick greens that slope away from the player and the tight fairways. This golf course always requires the utmost precision.
You can't hide the flagstick from that man.
He is just unbelievable, that never deviated offline.
Standing over this putt, concentrating on the read. Man.
I just pushed it.
Boy, that hurts. This is a pretty long putt here. You'd be happy to get this to within 2 or 3 feet. You really want to take the stress out of that next putt. Looks like he just misread that. Trying to get out of here without too many bumps and bruises. This one is for bogey.
Well, we'll never know if that had gone in, because it never made it.
Just a couple of feet. Take no pleasure in saying it, but it's a fact. It's a double bogey. 14, pretty short par 4 at 358 yards. Frank?
Get the ball in play here, and certainly your best opportunity for birdie on the second 9 so far. Oh, that's fine. Oh, that's it. New member of the 300-yard club.
Good poke right there. Pretty short shot here into the 14th hole.
Should be safely on deck.
Midway through this back 9, could use this birdie here at the 14th. Par yesterday, now for birdie. Frank, where has that been?
Yeah, thank God for small mercies.
Well, how about this hole, Frank? 499-yard, par 4 15th, all you want.
Oh, that's for sure. The church pews down the left. It's about 340 yards to get all the way past them, so that's not really an option. Bunkers down the right side, really, they tell you, you've got to somehow hit something in between both of those. And the reason why it's another fairway you want to hit is a long second shot. It's a little uphill to a green. Well, just like all the others, it's going to take something special.
This is going to play a lot shorter. It is a steep hill down to the green. Playing this par 4, still not on the green after that second shot.
But still not done. A good third shot, maybe get away here with par.
So getting set for a greenside bunker shot. Frank, when I think of the great bunker players in the history of the sport, I think about Gary Player, Seve Ballesteros, who you knew so well. What did they do that made them so effective on these greenside bunker shots?
They had an attitude for a start that was different. For them, it was, they saw possibilities. And they would imagine the amount of sand. Remember, because this is the only shot in golf where you don't have to hit the ball first. So they would really choose the amount of sand behind the ball, whether that was an inch or two. Aimed the club at that and made sure they followed through.
That's just downright embarrassing. On the putting surface and now off on the fringe. Wow. So just a formality here. Frank, you know full well this can be a humbling game.
And an embarrassing game.
Yet another demanding hole here at Oakmont. The par 3 16th, 231-yard par 3. Frank calls for a well-struck long iron.
It certainly does. It's going to favor something that's hit a little higher and a little softer. If you could just mentally cut this green in half and just sort of look at the left half of this green, that's really the best way to play this hole. And the reason why is the general contours all move to the right. That ball can still funnel down to the right side of the green.
Bogey here yesterday, chance to better that today. That one ends up in the rough.
That went sideways.
He'll need to be strong with this. Something about this hole, it has not been kind. Bogey yesterday and staring at another one today. Well, that's a tough break with that miss right there. This would give him the double. That is a double bogey. Frank, here we are at the 17th. It's only 313 yards. That's par 4, by the way. Nowadays, that could be a par 3. What's the right way to play this hole, or does it simply depend on where you are in the championship?
I think it depends on where you are in the championship. Sometimes people try and hit drivers at drivable par 4s. Believe it or not necessarily to make birdie, but it's the easiest option to make 4. One of the problems here at 17, if you do lay it up and the flag is on the right side, you turn it into a very, very difficult short par 4. And that's the reason why people often try and drive these greens.
Coming off a bogey here yesterday, chance to make it right. Very well done. Almost made it.
Yeah, there'll be no stress for the next one. That's the cruelest thing about this game, Rich. I mean, it's just now it's another shot.
then a rocky round.
This is where so many of the legends, from Hogan to Nicklaus to Miller to Els, made their imprint. And don't forget about Angel Cabrera, the last time the U.S. Open was played here. The 18th hole, the clubhouse straight ahead. What a view, and what a moment in the championship.
He has given this one the full treatment. Perfect release through the ball, and this shot is on the fairway, over 300 yards. He's knocked it on the green, but not in a great position. This is a difficult chance coming up here. Long birdie try.
Didn't fare too well on this hole yesterday. Made a bogey. That was not a very good read right there.
You don't want to let this one get away. This is about concentration and focus at this point.
Well, not in contention, but in for par. Frank, it was a great setting with great crowds. We saw plenty of very good golf. Your thoughts?
I think the course really extracted some of the golf that we saw. It forced these players to play just some great golf, and it wasn't just like a pitch and a putt golf course. So I think seeing the guys tested, seeing the players tested at this level, it was a treat.